Hello. In this video, I want to show you how to collect user input in your Java program. So up until now, we've defined some variables and we got the program to say something, in a sense, to the user by printing into the console. But now we want to kind of do the opposite, allow it so that the program can know what the user types into the console. Because the console is actually an interactive area where the user can type something in and then the code can do something about that. All right, so we're going to start by creating an object capable of understanding what the user is saying. All right, so we are going to make a new variable. All right, so when you define a new variable, you always start with what the data type is of the variable. Now, it just happens that this thing is an actual object, as opposed to just being a string or an int or a double. It's an object that's called a scanner. So that's the data type. And then we give it a name, so we call this like keyboard. I'm going to use camel case here, so lowercase k and then capital B. Notice how there is no space in between them. When you name your variables, you cannot have spaces. So this is kind of the convention to use this camel case, where everything starts with the lowercase letter, and then the new words are, they're jumbled together, but the new word starts with capital letters. All right, and then I'm going to set that equal to the thing itself. So I'm going to say new scanner. And then the scanner is supposed to pay attention to something in particular. So that is system.in, as in the input on the system. Kind of when we were displaying something in the output in the console, we said system.out.print. So this is the scanner paying attention to the input, and we're really thinking mostly about the keyboard here. So don't worry if you don't understand everything that's going on here. Using these constructors and naming these different things, that'll make more sense as we keep going. As long as you can copy it and use this anytime you want to add the capability to read user input, this is the first step in what you do. Now, the only problem is that if we tried to run this code so far, and if I execute it, it's going to throw an error. So say on chatbot.java line 8, there's an error, cannot find symbol. Right? So it doesn't know what to do with this scanner. It doesn't make any sense with what we're trying to do here. And that's because we haven't defined what a scanner is. It understands things like string, int, double, system. Those are things that are already known to the program. But if we're bringing in something else that isn't very standard Java, we have to import it. So notice how I made a few lines at the top here. I'm going to say import. And then I'm going to type out the location of where the code for scanner is. And there's tons and tons of code that we can borrow. That is part of the Java extended libraries and packages, other than just the very main core that we get. So these are things we just kind of memorize and learn and look up. We say java.util, util as in utility, dot, and then scanner. Right, so by doing that set of dots here, we finally get down to the specific scanner that we want. So this line here at least allows the program to create this object that we're calling keyboard, that is a scanner that's capable of understanding what the user is doing. All right, but how do we actually collect user information then? So after we do system.out.println, I'm going to make a new line here. And I want to get, well, first I want to say to the user, what is your name? So I'm going to do another system.out.println. What is your name in this statement? And then I'm going to actually collect what the user types in. That information is their name, so it's going to be a string. So I'm going to make a new variable that is of data type string. I'm going to call this user name. Notice the capital N, lowercase u, equals, and then I'm going to take that keyboard object that we made, and then dot, because I'm going to use one of its methods. Right? The keyboard can do lots of different things. So to specify what do I want the keyboard to do, I'm going to say keyboard dot, and then the method is called next line. Again, notice the camel case on the name of the method, next line. And it's a method, so we have these parentheses here. We don't put anything inside the parentheses. There's no argument. There's no parameter on what we're trying to do. And then we end the statement. All right, and then just to see if that worked or not, then we can do a response. We can say system.out.println. I'm pronouncing it again, but it's println. We could say hello, comma, space, and then I want to use that user name, but to concatenate those two strings together, use the plus symbol, and end the statement. And I can keep concatenating these more strings even. So even after I say username, then I can append another small string here, which is just an exclamation point. All right, now to make this work in JDoodle, you do have to change over to the interactive mode. If that's not working, there is a workaround to do, but hopefully this does work. Just change to interactive. That way you actually can type into the console if that's what your code expects to do. All right, so it says my name is Bob. What is your name? So John, I press enter, and then it used it. It says hello, John. All right, so we were even able to get something. If you look at our code, nowhere in our code did we write the word John, but our program was able to respond based on exactly what the user typed in. Anything that they typed in that on that keyboard was the next line that was saved as username, then we were able to use that variable in responding.